No,
And I know you say you don't do cocaine.
I don't do drugs.
That's the
No
thing.
droga here.
I'm just saying, like,
Ow.
no, I know. I'm just saying hypothetically. Hypothetically, if you were to
no cocaine.
I know. Conversations always go south when I bring up droga. I'm sorry. You don't do it.
That's a lie.
Okay. Can you? Okay.
Okay, tío Blue.
Yes.
Now, how you gonna answer my question?
Well, I feel like I did a great job, but now we got another one.
This Women's History Month, Dove is indulgently celebrating women winning everywhere, whether your victories are deliciously big delectably small. Dove wants to be there to delight and delect you with the indulgent indulgence of Dove chocolate. Handcrafted by our indulgent master chocolatiers, Dove chocolates bring silky, smooth indulgence to your delectable life. So silky, so smooth, decadently created with only the purest indulgent ingredients. Dove chocolate is deliciously silky smooth and the ultimate indulgent decadence. Dove chocolate is the silkiest and the smoothest, which is exactly what you deliciously deserve. So this smooth and indulgent Women's History Month, remember that you deserve silky decadence. You deserve delectable indulgence. You deserve Dove.
Hi, I'm Laura Canty Samuel, and I'm your host. Welcome to the Goss. When it comes to news and culture, oh yeah, we have an opinion. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate Women's History Month. This year's theme, as set by the National Women's History Alliance, is Valiant Women of the Vote, refusing to be silenced. I have an opinion on that. While I am a woman, my opinion on the history surrounding my privileges as a black one are a little more complicated. Like, why did white ladies get a full 31-day month for women's history when black folks only get 28 days? And before you look at me sideways, white women were given the right to vote in 1920, whereas black people weren't given voters protections until 1965. So I'm just like, well, where was y'all at for 45 years? But I digress. Let's celebrate. Women of all races, creeds, and ethnicities are putting in work and deserve acknowledgement. I mean, technically, if America had come as far as it claims to have come, we wouldn't even need race or gender designated months. Every story would be history. But I guess I'm asking too much. Or am I? Back to Women's History Month and the voting theme. Which was the first state to go all in on women's right to vote? New York or California? Neither one of them. That distinction goes to Wyoming. In 1869, the territory of Wyoming made history when it passed a law granting women aged 21 and older the right to vote. However, that law was threatened when Wyoming applied for statehood 2 decades later. Congress stated that it wouldn't allow Wyoming to join the Union unless the right to vote was taken away from women. Wyoming replied via telegram, which was the email of the 1800s. We will remain out of the Union 100 years rather than come in without the women. Was Wyoming whipped or what? Either way, Wyoming became a state in 1890 with its women still holding the right to vote. Sounds like Wyoming was 100% that bitch. Women's History Month is a time set aside to celebrate and commemorate the numerous important achievements of the ladies. Woo woo! When did this month begin? The roots of this celebration can be traced back to the first International Women's Day in 1911, which sounds like a long time ago, but since women have been on Earth doing dopeness since time began, that shit was really like yesterday. The actual celebration of Women's History Month grew out of a week-long celebration of women's contributions to culture, history, and society organized by a few women in the school district of Sonoma, California in 1978. Also of importance, in 1978, NASA unveiled its first group of women astronauts. The Susan B. Anthony Silver Dollar was minted, and Indira Gandhi proved that she could be just as troubled as any man in politics. Slowly fast forward to 1987, and after much lobbying, the month of March is designated Women's History Month. And here are my top 5 reasons women's history is amazing. Number 1, a woman created wireless transmission technology, paving the way for the modern invention of Wi-Fi and GPS, probably because she got tired of men not wanting to ask for directions. 2, a woman created the one-handed medical syringe. How did she come up with the idea? Probably because she was tired of having to do everything everybody else did with one hand tied behind her back. 3, life rafts. You're welcome. 4, the bulletproof fiber used in bulletproof vests. Well, somebody's got to save men from themselves, and a woman did it. Number 5, birth. That's the only way you got here, through the sheer strength of a woman's body. And that is my high Goss on women's history.
Hello, and happy Women's History Month. Today, I'm going to discuss history making women in science during a public health crisis. Not that public health crisis. We're going to go back 300 years to talk about women in the Ottoman Empire who knew how to stop smallpox. Are you surprised to hear women were involved in the fight against smallpox? Of course you are. That's because these women were not allowed to attend medical school or be doctors, and were largely left out of scientific textbooks and historical accounts. As women of the Ottoman Empire also understood, the only correct reaction to that sexist bullshit is this face. In response to being left out of the scientific oligarchy, these women shared medical knowledge among themselves, creating a community of female faith healers, midwives, surgeons, and more. But these women weren't just an old-timey version of a wellness-based MLM trying to get everyone to buy some myrrh. They were legit. And they were using an inoculation method believed to have originated hundreds of years earlier in China, which was also practiced in India and Africa. It was an effective, if disgusting, way to prevent smallpox. They filled a nutshell with pus from the blister of a smallpox victim, and then used a needle to scratch a small amount of it beneath the skin of a healthy person. Can you imagine trying to help strangers by inserting someone else's pus beneath their skin with a needle and getting no respect for it? If you're a woman, you probably can imagine that, because it's like being the woman in the office who finally cleans the break room microwave after your coworker Chad heats up some fish. Women are fucking amazing. The women were also fucking right. Smallpox was primarily caught through respiratory droplets, but modern-day doctors believe the treatment worked because it exposed the body to the virus through the skin rather than the lungs, thereby making it less deadly. Moral of the story? Women are heroes, and if one ever approaches you with a needle and a nutshell filled with pus, just say yes. Also, don't complain about the COVID vaccine.
And now, we'll hear from Dr. Jim Dunnigan, an animal expert.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jim Dunnigan. I don't know a lot about people, but I do know a lot about animals. And I'm here to tell you about a world where the patriarchy doesn't exist. Female black widows are twice as large as males and 30 times heavier. Did I also mention that they sometimes eat smaller males who approach them? I can tell you, if that happened with human males, there would be a lot less pickup artists out there. Now, when the mating actually starts, it can get so aggressive that the females might end up eating the males anyway. And the males not only enjoy that, they somersault themselves into the mouths of these females to offer themselves up as food. Now, I'm saving myself for marriage, but I hope to one day have such a good time that I would want to die. I'm just glad we human males don't have to worry about getting eaten after sex. Right, Laura?
Oh, Jim.
Is that a yes or a no?
No.
Okay. Paper, you guys don't eat us after sex, right? Guys, can I just get a truthful yes or no on this?
Hi, I'm Greg Cornejo with the Goss, and today we're talking about Women's History Month. And you know what? I don't believe there should be a Women's History Month. No, I'm not a male rights activist. I know how it sounds, but it's just history. Women are half of the population. Why wouldn't they be a major part of history? As much as some men want to downplay the strength and fortitude of women, it's undeniable. Women have impacted everything from medical and social advancements to technology. One woman who comes to mind is Josephine Baker. She was a spokesmodel for dancing and debauchery, my favorite, which came in handy during World War II. A bisexual black woman who was married to a rich Jewish man. hit that Hitler Venn diagram right in that sweet spot. So as the axis of evil got stronger, so did Josephine, by helping, hiding, and feeding rebel forces in France. She infiltrated the axis of evil. But how, you ask? She's still black, bisexual, and married to a Jewish man. Well, the Nazis got blinded. No, not by an attack or anything like that. See, when she danced, their peepees tingled. So they ejaculated information into Josephine's ears, which she in turn would take to the rebels, saving the world. Another person who saved the world, unknowingly, was Miss Henrietta Lacks. Sadly, she died young from cancer. Her cells, though, which are referred to as HeLa cells, are actually HeLa cells. They reproduce infinitely. Her cells provided the basis for AIDS and chemotherapy treatments, in vitro fertilization, gene mapping, anti-cancer drugs, and other medical discoveries. Oprah even made a movie about her. The research done with her cells has saved millions. Geico should really consider having her cells be their new spokesmodel. She helped us without even knowing it. But somebody who helped us and knew exactly what she was doing was Shirley Chisholm. She was a real Brooklynite, half Guyanese and half Bayesian. She had the energy of the West Indian Day Parade running through her veins. She graduated from Brooklyn College in 1946. She got a master's from Columbia in 51. She went throughout Congress from 69 to 83, representing the 12th District of Brooklyn, Bedside. She was a founding member of the Congressional Black Caucus, as well as being the first Black woman elected to Congress. She introduced more than 50 pieces of legislation. You know, in my experience, there's two things West Indians definitely do: feed you and talk shit, possibly at the same time. That's exactly what Shirley did. She was central in starting programs like WIC and expanding food stamps for all Americans. So she fed people. And here's a clip of her talking some shit.
Well, Mayor Lindsay will be getting votes from the same area that I anticipate getting votes. And I dare say that my candidacy might not only hurt Mayor Lindsay, it might hurt a few others who have the same political.
Shirley became the first African American, male or female, to run for president in 1972, paving the way for Barack and Kamala. Thank you, Shirley. Legend has it, every time someone says Shirley Chisholm's name, a newborn baby yells, "Brooklyn!"
Hello, I'm the best man in the world. I've won the award 4 years in a row. It's technically the least worst man award. The first least worst man award was awarded in 2016 when the man said, "Actually, I supported Hillary," and the woman said, "Well, do you want a trophy?" And he said, "Yes, actually." I benefit from what is known in man circles as a low bar. It's footage from my 2018 victory where I listened for a little bit. In 2019, I raced to the top of the charts for not saying, "Sure, but what about," for 6 months in a row. And in 2020, I kept myself to myself. Every year, I'm worried that I'll lose my title, and every year, men are somehow worse. Thanks, fam. I couldn't do it without you. So until next year, I remain the best man. Bam, 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 bam.
Hey, girl. Hi, everyone. That was the Goss. Welcome to almost the Goss Gab, and I'm Laura Canty Samuel.
And I'm Pavar Snipe. And this is our Women's History Month episode.
This is our Women's History Month episode. So what's going on with Shem?
Apparently he's the best man by default. So
okay. So
yeah.
So we celebrate women's history by celebrating him being the best man for us, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just like a man.
But we also have some bonus Goss for you. And so before we actually jump into the Goss Gab, we've got some extra information from Dominique that I didn't know that you just absolutely positively have to hear first. So let's hear
Yes.
this
Let's
bonus
hear it.
gossip.
It's March. I guess women got our own month now, which is bullshit. Half the fucking population can get a month. Bullshit. We should get at least 6 months and like a Tiffany bracelet with a charm. And on top of this lame time restriction, the women that we usually celebrate in the year are low-key problematic. Susan B. Anthony, racist. I mean, just look at that part and tell me it doesn't say, I don't want to let black women vote. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, racist AF. I mean, if that collar doesn't tell you she's a eugenicist, I don't know what does. All right, this is actually just a part of a larger pattern of white women wearing clothes that let you know whose team they're really on. Sorry, Meryl. And look, if you're like, Dom, you're on full tilt right now, there's a reason we call it March Madness. Oh, no, not that kind of madness. This kind of madness. White women make 79 cents for every white man dollar, and Latinas make 55 cents. 55 cents? Do you know how much more Five Guys I could have been eating every single week? In addition to being generally mad in March, this March has been particularly infuriating. With the recent shootings in Atlanta, fools be like, is it racist or is it sexist? Homie, it can be both. But let me tell you about some really dope women who are not only fierce, but they're also anti-racist. Yuri Kochiyama was a Japanese-American woman who was interned as a child, and she later fought for Black and Asian liberation. She was a homie of Malcolm X, and she got him connected to all the third world liberation struggle fighters out there at the time. And she then fought for reparations for Black and Asian folks. And also, these glasses, can we say, they just say, I am fierce, I am an advocate. And then there's Grace Lee Boggs. She's a Chinese-American activist and scholar. She fought for the Asian American movement. She also fought for tenants' rights and environmental justice. And can we talk about this boat neck? Can we talk about this capri? It says, I am ahead of my time. And of course, lest we forget, Marsha P. Johnson, a founding fighter for the LGBTQIA+ movement. Let me tell you, she fought for trans inclusion and for sex worker rights when it was very unpopular. And if this crown does not signal to you that she is a queen at whose throne you should be worshiping at, I don't know what to tell you. And if you think I hate white women, let's be clear, I don't. For example, Elizabeth Ware Packard, shout out. She was an early disability rights advocate. She came to be this activist after her husband committed her to an insane asylum in Jacksonville for not supporting slavery. What? But aside from that, can we talk about these buns? These buns say, I am not racist. I am not an object. You cannot jail me, and I will burn this whole asylum down. Unless we forget the world's greatest white woman, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. If you don't know who this is, I cannot help you. I don't know what to tell you. Why are you here? Okay? But let's just talk about this bib. This bib says, I uplifted a whole segment of society in my lifetime. Come at me, bitch. But if you're like, Dom, should we really be judging women by their clothes? And also, what do your clothes even say about you? 1, fine. 2, this hole in my shirt lets you know that I keep cold cuts in my purse for when I get hangry, and also I will cut you. So happy Women's History Month!
There's nothing better than that. Nothing better than every bit of that.
That was amazing. That was amazing. So here we are with the Goss Gab. We're ready to dive in.
Yeah.
And we want to jump in. We have a special guest tonight.
Yes, I'm so excited about our special guest because she is hometown fam. We got comedian Donna Lewis, who's coming to us straight out of the 757, aka Hampton, Virginia, which is also where I happen to be from. So shout out to you. down. And she is a phenomenal comedian in so many ways. Laura, tell us more.
Oh, well, I mean, I have her like bio here. It's like 1,000 pages long, but we condensed it. So just give you some points because there's so many highlights. But yeah, she's open for comedy legend Marsha Warfield and has performed at well-known clubs in LA, New Orleans, Boston, and New York City. She's been seen in comedy festivals, TV commercials, and also performed sketch and improv comedy with the group she founded, Lemon, Pepper, and Fazon, from the Push Comedy Theater of Norfolk, VA. My mother's from Norfolk. Hi, Mom. So, holding it down. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, we're so happy to have a fabulous woman to celebrate Women's History Month.
Absolutely. Yes. And then here comes the rest of the Goss squad, all chiming in one by one. What's up, guys?
So introduce you and say where you're at, if we could. Cool. All right. So Danielle Clark.
Hey, what's up? I am in Brooklyn and I am serving you RBG brat stall tonight. That's the look. Yes, rip. We love a queen for justice, single mom gang.
Dominique Nisperos.
Hi, Dominique Nisperos here in Lenape-Hoking, also called Brooklyn. I'm serving you grad student realness with the little jacket over my stained shirt. Also got soy sauce on it, Pavar.
Greg Cornejo.
Hi, I'm Greg Cornejo. I'm in Newark right now. I'm serving you Gap employee. You need that in an extra large? Because
we have Shem Pennant, who appears to be Prince Harry's agent.
Yo, I'm coming at you with a middle-aged man who doesn't think he's a teenager, still in the teacher. For these, yo.
And Pavar Snipe, who's in?
I am in Fort Lee, New Jersey, just across the bridge from NYC. I changed my soy sauce stained shirt a little while ago because I wasn't ashamed. It was a little bit too much soy sauce. And I am here and ready to chat it up with our guest.
Nice. And I'm Laura Katie Samuel. I'm in Brooklyn, and I have
You need to work on that gun. The last gun.
Someone's a Democrat. Someone believes in gun control. Yeah. I like that.
Someone's not impressed.
It's a little pistol. Yes. I have an lovely fuchsia top, but you can only see me like just at my shoulders because you don't want to see the rest of this. It's been a long year and months. Anyway, so Donna Lewis, what's good?
Hey, I'm just trying to survive the panty like the rest of us, child. with my bad knees, I'm still here. Back in the color purple, but Lord, I'm still here.
Donna, tell us something about yourself that we didn't just read off in your bio.
I work full-time for NASA.
Oh, you're a NASA lady. Okay, all right.
Yep.
So she knows numbers and stuff.
I know how to play the numbers, yeah. But I've been there going on 21 years. Yes, I'm a configuration and data manager for spaceflight projects.
All right.
Oh, nice. So let me ask you.
But that's my side gig. Yeah. I like doing comedy more.
Right. Sure. But we have to ask, how riled up was Hidden Figures when you're watching it? How much of it was nonsense?
The Hidden Figures.
How did you feel was Figures?
Say that again.
How did you feel about the movie Hidden Figures?
It was actually hidden from me because I worked there 21 years and didn't know anything about those ladies.
Wow. You didn't work there?
They all worked there, but I mean, that was way before my time.
Right, of course.
But until the movie came out, I didn't know anything about, I guess I never even thought about the history of Black people at NASA Langley Research Center or NASA in general. But
wow, you know the whole name. Okay, you know the whole name. Cool. Yeah, you definitely will.
Yes.
You know, though, I say NASA, that's it. And that covers like 3 locations.
Well, it's 11 locations around the country, so it's more.
I don't know.
And locations outside the country.
Ask me how many Gap locations right now. Ask me.
You probably know.
I know 1,535.
Okay.
Donna, how close are we to actually getting condos on Mars? Is this a thing that's going to happen in our lifetime?
It could happen. Anything could happen. I mean, look, I say this in my stand-up. As long as I've been working at NASA, I've been an Avon lady. So I'm ready with my brochure when they find life up there. I'm sure it's gonna be a little green alien with bad skin that need a good moisturizer.
You're gonna get a pink rocket, right?
Yeah,
like, Cadillac.
Mary Kay. That's Mary Kay. That's like calling a Dominican a Puerto Rican. That's like calling a Dominican a Puerto Rican. You don't call them Avon lady a Mary Kay person.
Oh, damn.
I had no idea. I didn't realize it was a racial slur like that. I'm so sorry.
Avon don't do pink Cadillacs now.
Well, what do you do? What do they do though? What do they do? Do they do something?
You just no.
You just got the money. You just got the money.
You just stack your money. That's what you do.
That's all right. You don't need cars for Avon.
Okay. You don't need no cars.
If you never
That's
got
how they used to pay.
Huh? No, I was about to shout out that Skin So Soft. If you never got no Skin So Soft during the summertime, you're missing out.
That's right. That's right. And look, that's how they used to pay broke blues players back in the 50s with cars. We don't want no cars.
But a spaceship would be okay.
That's fine.
Okay. Because you could travel back and forth, you know?
That's right. And be moisturized with your Skin So Soft.
Right. That's right. Who wants to be ashy in space? Nobody.
The moon is ashy. You should get some lotion for the moon. The moon is very ashy.
Yeah, the moon is kind of gray and ashy.
Yeah.
Is then just trying to get notion to the moon.
I cannot believe God is dragging the moon.
I know, right?
So Donna, tell us, when did you decide that you wanted to go into comedy? What made you decide that?
Well, you know, a bad relationship you make you do just about anything.
Oh, all right.
Wow.
But I had been divorced for some time, and I was always looking for something to do, because when you transition from being married with kids and all this kind of stuff it's just you got to figure out something to do. And I saw something on like a social media post about taking an improv class, and I had no idea that there was an improv school right here in Norfolk, Virginia. So at the tender age of 55, I took my first improv class at the Push Comedy Theater in Norfolk, Virginia.
Love it.
Wow. Amazing.
And so I took Improv 101, 201, and you know, they're kind of modeled after UCB. So they have Improv 101 through 501. I took all those classes. They also teach sketch and stand-up. But I took all the improv classes there in 2015. And then in 2016, I took the stand-up class at the Virginia Beach Funny Bone.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since then, I just been doing it all.
Nice. Okay, you said it was patterned down at UCB, so that must mean they're going to close soon. So,
I hope not. I hope not. But no, the person that I think two of the founders, or maybe all of them, went to
they all came from
New York long time ago. And one of the gentlemen came back because he's from Portsmouth, and started the school here.
Okay, that's
super.
So
I'm so glad you made it 55 years without taking an improv class. Like, I'm sorry it got you in the end, but you did like so well. Unbroken streak.
I brought that big menopause energy to improv.
Yes. BME, baby.
Yep. So yeah, so I've just been, oh boy, have I been busy ever since I finished that Funny Bone class. And, you know, yeah, I've been really busy.
That is amazing. So let me ask you another question. When you decided to go into comedy, how did your family feel about that? Were they nervous that you would say things about them? Were they like, "Oh, mom, you're so funny," or like, how did that play out?
Well, I mean, at this, being older, a lot of my parents have went on to heaven, but the family and my friends that I have, they were very, very supportive. And I didn't tell anybody I was taking an improv class until it was time for my grad show for the 101. And when I took it, I'm telling you, and just like a lot of improv schools, it was the first time that the theater had that many Black people in it. And what was funny is that the theater had been in Norfolk for, at that point, 2015, maybe 8 or 9 years, and nobody knew it was there. And so,
I mean, somebody knew it was there. It just wasn't, you know.
You know how improv is for us. So
yeah.
So you're like,
we didn't know.
You're the hidden figures for Norfolk's improv scene.
Yes.
Oh,
the hidden figures improv.
For a while, I used to call myself the Harriet Tubman of the theater because I was the only Black person up in there.
Look, I didn't even know that it existed until I left.
Really?
I left to pursue it. I didn't know it was there.
Right. So yeah,
so around the corner from my job.
Right.
But I feel like if Harriet Tubman were around now, she'd be like getting Black folks out of improv. She would be liberating people. Like,
all right.
This way you can write things down.
Yes. You can't stay here no more.
Yes.
Yeah, but since then, as time went on, and I finished all the classes, I was in a one group that they put together at the theater where everybody was over 50. And we called ourselves the Upright Senior Citizens Brigade. And we had a ball because, you know, all of our sketches and stuff was was sketch and improv, and all of our sketches and everything was all, you know, for older people. And we used to do our shows on Sunday afternoon, like a matinee. Okay. And folks would come in there with their walkers or whatever, but they had a good time.
I love that.
Listen, I love afternoon comedy. Afternoon comedy is the best.
and look, and the audience is old, and they could stay. It was early enough for them to stay up through the whole damn thing.
Truly, I wish shows were earlier.
Yeah. What better to do than go to church and then straight to an improv show?
Oh yeah.
I always schedule a little nap break in my sketches. There's just like a little moment where everyone can like just doze off and it's fine. And I'm very in favor of this.
It was fun.
That's great. And real quick, tell us about the group that you founded. How's that going? Are you still performing? I mean, I guess it's COVID.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So 2015. So we fast forward to 2018. You know, it was kind of lonely being one of very few minorities at the school, and you know how it is even in New York. I couldn't believe in New York that they had a problem with diversity in improv because it's New York City.
Mm-hmm,
but and after being in so many other groups and things, I was in a show where it was mostly the Comedy Theater puts on a once a year all women sketch and improv show. And in 2018, I want to say that was probably the one year that was probably 7 or 8 Black women in the show. And something in me said, you know what? I said, we ought to put something together that's just us, you know, so we can have our own voice and do our own sketches and things that mean something to us. And so the summer, that was February. So the summer of 2018, the folks from Hip Hop Improv, which Big Willie was a part of, Cypher Sounds and X Mayo and some other folks that was in it, came to Virginia Beach and performed.
Okay.
I don't know where I saw that they were coming here. Take it personal. I don't know how I found out about it, but I had never seen people of color do improv or sketch like that. You know, with the exception of what I saw on TV, like Mad TV or In Living Color. but I had never seen that live with us. And I asked some of the people that were in the show from the early in the year, along with some other folks. And when I saw it, it just kind of blew my mind. And that was kind of the impetus to get me to start Lemon Pepper and Saison. Because we started off, it's all Black women. But then over the years, as more folks, LPS Comedy 757, there we go. More folks from the theater, people of color wanted to join our group. And so now it more from all Black women to Puerto Rican, Vietnamese, Filipino, Spanish, Black, gay, straight, old, So we're multicultural and multi-generational. And so we kind of serve a lot of those. It's a place that folks can come express themselves.
That's awesome.
I love it. Are you guys doing online shows?
We've been doing a lot of online shows. Since the last live show we did together was last January, I want to say, because down here, Pavar, you remember Kazi's Comedy Club?
Yep.
I was hosting and booking the Kazi Sunday Funnies before the pandemic. And so I we headlined an improv show, and I had some stand-up comedians in between, and I brought 2 other groups from Push Comedy Theater to have a whole night of improv and stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the last time we did. No, I take it back. We got accepted to the Newark Improv Festival, and we came up to New York to Jersey, and we performed at the Newark Improv Festival. And the same night we went over to New York and performed at the Magnet.
Nice.
Last February.
You didn't know that was going to be a temporary end of a run, but that was a good way to leave it for now.
Oh, we had a ball up there. That was the first time we went that far, because we had been doing a lot of shows in Baltimore with the Charm City Comedy Festival. Right. And the Charm City Comedy Projects. We had been up there maybe 3 or 4 times and done whole shows up there. But we had a ball in New York and New Jersey. That was so much fun.
Awesome. We can't wait for the world to open back up so we can see your live shows. And you have to invite us down. We have all kind of stand-ups on our panel, all kind of improvisers. So we can't wait to mix it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's folks on the squad that do stand-up comedy as well. So, we say in our tagline that we do sketch, improv, and stand-up.
Cool.
Awesome. Book your van on down.
Great.
I'm sorry.
Take y'all to Feather and Fin. It's a chicken place at home. She knows what I'm talking
about.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
But girl, Chicka C got them beat, girl.
This sounds like a beef. This is a war.
It's the hood chicken wars. Yes.
Yes.
I just thought it was like churches versus El Pollo Loco, but that's just where I'm from.
Oh no. That's 2 different types of chicken.
What?
Versus chicken versus. Anyway, we'll talk about this.
I'm strictly Kansas fried chicken.
But Pollo Campero. That
you took me. Laura took me to Pollo Campero.
I did. It is amazing. But now let's move into the news. I would like to start with the topic that Donna mentioned, diversity. This week, Meghan McCain, I don't know if you guys heard about it, she stuck her foot in it yet again. So it doesn't stop. And it all happened because Senator Tammy Duckworth made a statement about wanting more Asian Americans in Joe Biden's cabinet. And Tammy Duckworth said that she refuses to support any of the president's non-diverse nominees until he places more Asian Americans in his cabinet at high levels, like secretary level.
Hold on, let me brace myself for the impact.
Okay, but then like Meghan McCain, she
decided being a jackass.
Yeah, she decided to be a jackass, and I think a big if you have that queued up when you're ready to show that, we want to show exactly what Meghan had to say.
Well, her silly ass had to say again.
And this is coming days after she made her apology for her past racist statements against Asian people that contributed to the current crisis that we're in right now.
She couldn't make it a whole last week. She couldn't make it a week.
Yeah, she was making room. She was clearing out her docket so that she could bring more in.
Yeah,
Very
5 years old next year. We've only had one Asian American co-host this show. So does that mean that one of us should be leaving at some point because there's not enough representation?
Yes, bitch, you.
So if you have someone who is more qualified, who happens to be a white straight person, who is more on paper, has more experience in whatever field that they're being nominated for, than a minority with less experience, are we now in a place where this matters?
What is her hair? Cultural appropriation.
Is identity politics more important than qualifications of a job? And I think that's a question going forward that the progressive left is going to have to reconcile.
Okay.
Yes.
She should ask her hairdresser for qualifications.
Gender and race being more important than qualifications. It's about the fact that there are many qualified women and minority candidates that never get the opportunity because of the, again, advancement of generally white male mediocrity because of things like legacy.
Speaking of legacy.
Yup.
Exactly.
Okay, we can leave it there. We can leave it there, Will. Thank you so much. Yes, she had the caucasity.
Caucasity.
It's amazing. I don't even know if she even thought about. I mean, she had to. I guess she wrote it down. It was in the teleprompter. I don't know, but to say that. Like to talk about identity politics and to say that, well, now is it more important for people who are not qualified to get the jobs over other people, like white people, who may be because of identity politics? First of all, if we're going to fix a problem, we have to start at the beginning. You have to deal with the fact that Black people who are qualified, beyond qualified, people of color, I shouldn't just say Black people, but BIPOC communities are overlooked time and time again because they don't fit into this mold, this, white male mold. And so for her, first of all, as a woman, to talk this craziness, but also someone who really is only in the position that she has because she's McCain's daughter. I'm not going to say that she has not accomplished some things on her own, but let's call it what it is. She was able to move ahead in the line because she had a famous papa. And that's okay to have it like that, but let's not pretend that didn't help you out. That made you more qualified than someone else in a real way. So what do you guys think?
I mean, the fact that she calls us stop calling us minorities. People of color are 80% of the world. So we are the underrepresented majority. So don't act like you're doing us favors because you've been kicking us out for so long. It's like, and then if you're going to talk about qualifications, who did your hair? Who did that to you? Give you that same
how are you going to come for somebody with a one big ass braid on your head? And I'm not, listen, women supporting women. I support all women. I would never body shame, but know your limits. I'm not coming for you because I have 2 buns on my head and I don't want to get made fun of. Okay?
Everybody just think her hair and makeup. They knew what she was going to say, and they were like, "Oh, you know what? We hate you," and they just did it.
I think that's one corner.
She's being pranked. She's being pranked with all of her hair, all of her looks, because she looks crazy on a regular basis.
Yes,
she does. She's trying to be cute. She said, "Can a bitch look cute?" No, you don't. Stop it.
And then she goes into this whole thing about, are we supposed to hire people that are non-qualified? And I'm like, really?
Yeah, nobody knows how to do their job when they first started. No.
I think that one cornrow is the amount of diversity she can handle. It's I can't do I can do just a little bit, but not a meaningful amount. So just
it looked like a goddamn snake on her head, like a blonde snake on her head. And she's sitting up there talking shit.
It's I think Shem has an opposing view.
Oh, I mean, my mother got me this slot on the Goss, so I'm all in favor of nepotism.
Yeah, Shem's mom's got pulled. Yes, but yeah, her hair looks crazy, and that I cannot understand anyone who would listen to her with her hair looking like that, but that's how I felt about our ex-president. I couldn't understand how people could listen to him and take him seriously. And for me, it didn't even matter all the other things that he said and did. I'm like, look at the man's head. You can't take that person seriously. So looking at her and her head, like no one should take her seriously. Then why does she have that seat? Should she be removed? Probably. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Let's make it
She's been needing to go just because some of the stuff she says is just so clueless.
Yeah. She needs to go with Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah. They could go on an apology tour with Derek Jackson, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh gosh. All right. So we're going to keep going since we're talking about people leaving jobs. Let's talk about a couple of other like white folks that got fired this week. Pavar.
Oh yeah, this is breaking white folk get fired news. So Sharon Osbourne is now out of her gig at the Talk after being there for 10 years, and this all stems from her very controversial conversation with Cheryl Underwood on a show a couple of weeks ago when they were going back and forth about Sharon's support of Piers Morgan after his rude and racist comments about Meghan Markle when she said that she had some mental health issues and was suicidal following all of the things that she faced when she was in the royal family. So they had their back and forth on air, of which Sharon said that she was not expecting, but she seemed to be beyond sympathetic to Piers. She seemed to be defending some of the statements that he made, in which certainly could be considered to be emphasizing racism. So now the show went on a hiatus for a couple of weeks. They now won't be back until April the 12th. And it was just announced today that Sharon Osbourne will not be returning to the show. Now, this is on top of the fact that besides of the Piers Morgan situation, she also apparently made some statements about some of the former cast members of the show, including making very, very anti-lesbian comments about, what's her name? Sarah Gilbert, and also some comments about Joan Chen, who was also the former co-host. She made some very anti-Asian statements about her. And you also have Holly Robinson, who said that she was too ghetto for the show. And Sharon Osbourne also had a hand in kicking her off the show. And so Sharon's out. And here's the thing. Is anybody surprised that Sharon Osbourne said any of those rude, racist comments? Did anybody watch that reality show she had with her husband way back in the day?
Yeah, I did.
I didn't watch
beyond rude and beyond disgusting and beyond offensive all the time. So yeah, this is who she is. This is how she rolls.
I'm a fan, so
yeah, you know she's racist if she calls Holly Robinson Pete ghetto,
right?
Holly Robinson
Pete. Holly Robinson Pete. Really? Holly Robinson.
All people.
All people.
What?
Anybody else in the world? But Holly Robinson Pete is ghetto?
I mean, that's like calling Wayne Brady Farrakhan.
Yeah. He's a militant.
I think Paul Mooney said something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like Wayne Brady did do a great job in that skit. Break yourself, fool. I know.
Is Wayne Brady gonna have to beat a bitch?
Yeah. But with Sharon Osbourne, like I never cared for her. Like she was married to a man who like supposedly ate like a bit like bats' heads off or something crazy. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of that. I heard about it.
I am surprised, Laura. I'm totally surprised.
Also, I'm ignorant. Is Ozzy still alive?
Yes.
So
People have been asking that question for about 30 years. So
I know. Was he ever?
Literally, yes.
Hot take, Shem.
Yeah, don't come for Ozzy.
Can you tell us more?
No, he's just a bad rock star. That hasn't had. He did 2 good songs. Yeah, that's it. that's the whole reason why these people are in our lives, because of two good songs.
Well, what were the songs? I'm not sure, but I'm recognizing a trend where it's like two awful white women whose fame is like through their husband or their dad. But name that song, Shem.
Yeah, name that song. I don't know.
Wasn't he in Crazy Train, and then Iron Man? Wasn't that him? I don't know. I'm young. I don't know.
That was
Look, I'm old and I don't know that shit.
Is that?
Yeah, from Black Sabbath.
If you're watching in the Goss, please let us know. Name those songs.
Yeah, let us know.
Let us know in the comments. Because
Why is Ozzy Osbourne? If you're in the chat, please comment your two good songs. Thank you.
I'm older than all of y'all, and I wouldn't listen to that shit. I was listening to Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah, exactly. That's music.
Are they doing their verses, the Isley Brothers? Is that happening today? Or is that happening tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
That's tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Great.
We'll be tuning in for that.
Yes.
Oh, before we move on, we got another white people get fired story. So you've got a couple of radio personalities who were recently fired for some absolutely disgusting, unbelievably racist comments that they were making about Black women and comparing their skin tones to how they like their toast.
I saw that.
This is actually a thing that happened. Halle Berry is one of the women who were actually targeted in this ridiculous conversation that they had the nerve to make on air, in which the guy was saying that he likes his toast and compared to how he likes the complexion of Black women and whether or not he finds them attractive.
Yeah.
This is that actually happened. And we actually have some audio from that. Hopefully we'll be able to cue that up. But Halle Berry just said it's ridiculous. This type of nonsense is still being broadcasted across airwaves. Black women are beautiful in all shades and whatnot.
They might be white, but they're the toast now. Their asses is toast.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Also, is this guy like having sex with his toast? Like, I don't understand the analogy. Like, why are you like looking at your toast and you're like, that's how I like them? Like, gross.
Yeah, I like my sex like I like my toast, dry, crumbly.
Oh my God.
With some butter.
Here's the actual radio. This what happened.
It's probably a 7-ish.
6
to 7, probably 7.
No.
See, who's a 6 or 7?
And I may get into trouble for this.
2 o'clock.
I have them to the attractiveness of women that I find to be attractive. So I will never go to a Serena Williams level.
Bitch! You should be so lucky.
He's probably short.
Ew. You know this guy's ugly. Oh my God.
Who talks like that?
Mulatto still coming through.
He said mulatto?
Oh, he got people's free papers in his attic.
Octoroon.
No.
He's got people's free papers in his attic. This guy is
What's the
wild.
number? I think it's probably a 7-ish, 6 to 7, probably 7.
I may get in trouble for this.
Yeah, I'm gonna lose my career, but I'm gonna keep going with this anyway. And we're obviously gonna get fired. Right?
He's gonna get hired by some conservative station that needs people, and they're gonna get a whole lot of money.
We got to start calling white men the overrepresented minority, just so we're clear. Because if you're white, you're 20% of the world, and if roughly half of you are men, you're 10% of humanity, and yet all we hear is your dumb thoughts all the time. No.
Yeah, I love that, Dom.
Tired.
Overrepresented minority. We need to get shirts. It's bring them down. It's disgusting.
That was bad.
Yeah, it's just bad. But there's more disgustingness going on, and I know Greg wanted to talk about that. It happened in a New York City bakery.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, David's Bakery. Dirty stinking ass Stephanie De Niro, 38. Her racist ass was of course, I don't mean to say it like this, but I am gonna say it like this.
I might get in trouble.
I'm gonna get in trouble. But she's a dumbass Trump supporter, and I'm not saying all Trump supporters are dumbass, but if you're a dumbass, you're probably gonna be a Trump supporter, right? So she's all over the internet with nonsense, and then she calls him the kid that's telling her, okay, you putting it up, all right.
An iced coffee
for you.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Hell yeah.
Give us our money.
That's how I like my women, like a Dunkin' Donuts coffee.
I like that. I like the light and sweet ones. I don't like
the shocking
I like
moment
my
a
women
white
like I
woman
like
said this to a black bakery worker in New York City.
Why? Because he's a bitch.
The video recorded by a bystander showing the woman denied service by the employee after refusing to wear a face mask.
Can't wear a mask, sir.
Look at the
Security
hair
at the
of
scene
the
attempting
children.
to de-escalate the situation, but things took a turn when the woman hurled a racial slur.
Ma'am, he's not going to serve us, so please leave.
The West Indian lady in the background's up playing.
Oh my God.
That's what he is.
The woman doubling down on the racist insult next to children that appear to be with her.
You have a baby who's big.
This morning, the man behind the counter, 30-year-old Victor Kamara, is speaking out.
I was kind of, sorry about the situation. I was kind of, appalled by it as well.
For a black person, we know that the N-word has a way of really, it strikes you like a lightning bolt. Did it make you take a step back?
I was like, why would you call me that? You know what I mean? And especially having kids that are mixed, why would you use those words?
Kamara says while he was trying to calm the situation, he appreciated those who stepped in. In a statement, the bakery is praising Kamara, saying we stand with all our employees and thank Victor for handling the situation of hate and bigotry with professionalism and grace. Adding anyone who uses racism and any insensitive language simply is not welcome in our stores. But incidents like these caught on camera all too frequently are an unfortunate reality for many. 22-year-old Maya Ponsetto is now facing a new lawsuit after attacking a black teenager at a New York City hotel back in December.
Face off, that's mine.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So she has kids. She's mixed kids,
With a husband.
With a black husband. Yes,
She
absolutely.
has a black
Well, no,
so
ex-husband.
disturbing.
Ex.
Oh, when she does her apology video, she'll have a little hat saying "My kids have a black daddy" on the top.
She gonna get one of them Derek Jackson's wife's bonnet on her head.
Right. No, her husband's gonna be wearing that. Her ex-husband's gonna be wearing the bonnet. And saying they're quiet, holding her hand. Looking dumb because she was talking all that nonsense. Yeah, it's so strange that, I mean, to be a Trump supporter in New York, I'm sure is difficult, but this is like, it's strange how aggressive she was unnecessarily. Like, she was if this was 1995, she would have gotten jumped in that line. But she was so lucky that we're in a more modern age that people are trying to be cool. But like,
if it was 2021 and I was in that line, she would have gotten jumped in that line.
I would have thrown a croissant at her for real.
Yeah,
just to throw it at her.
I will say that
And I
is
would've-
the blackest way I've heard a white person use the N-word. She's like, he's a bitch ass nigga, which is like, that's.
But she didn't say it with the A.
number.
She said it with the ER. She could have.
Yeah, she's close.
She knows. She knows. She's been cross-pollinated in the culture, so like she knows a little bit. Barbecue.
She said the ethnic. She's like the fact that her children, because her children are black. Well, they say it all the time.
Yeah.
They say it all the time, so I can say it. Like, what do you? First of all, are you saying your children say this? Number one? Are you crazy?
She's not the first white woman that I've seen who doesn't understand how race works and thinks she's got a little something in her because she's got a little something in her. Like, I've had conversations.
A whole lot of something. Stop playing with me, dog.
Did y'all know that this lady also has been caught on in other places doing the same kind of ridiculous stuff?
Yep.
I wish the dude with the twisted tea can could meet her ass.
Yeah, with the.
You want to call? Because when the homeboy popped off at him, kabam!
Yeah.
She ain't meet the right one.
Right.
Listen.
She's gonna. And this lady's gonna have now her dumb ass is gonna have to pay her ex child support because nobody's gonna leave kids with her. So now she's gonna have to pay child support and everybody's gonna know who she is in the United States.
Kids out their name.
Yeah, because that's half of them, right? So like you could talk all that nonsense.
Greg, I love how that's your in. I love it.
The thing is, her ex or whoever he is, he knows what she is, and the fact that that woman is allowed to spend any time with those children, I mean, these are not like little babies; these are big children, and I can only imagine the amount of scarring that they have, and just standing there listening to their mother do this, it's just unfathomable to me.
It's terrible.
You know,
and them
but
kids growing up in New York too. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And now, I mean, and I saw in this video, nice, their face was blurred out. But when I saw the video, I could see those children's faces crystal clear. You know, could you imagine having to go to school? Because one of them looked like she was at least in like 7th grade, maybe 6th, 7th grade.
Oh, that's terrible.
Like your mom said, what? You know, now you gotta take up for your mom who you hate.
Yeah, right. Now you gotta fight. Now you gotta fight in the locker room in 7th grade gym.
Mom, we're outside the house. Can't say.
Right.
Yes. Use your inside voice at home.
Not what you say to daddy.
You know what I was thinking? I said maybe she shouldn't get barred from that restaurant, and I would love to serve her ass.
So
okay. you know, kind of like
leaving NASA to go do that, though, Donna. You're not leaving NASA to go serve her.
I don't know. I think a perfect person to work behind the counter would be like Miss Minnie from The Help, because she knows how to get white people to eat shit. She knows how to get white people to eat shit.
The doodle croissants.
You did it.
Oh, is it
doodle?
did
mention the color purple earlier with the little Suge Avery pea.
Suge Avery tea.
Oh, yeah. A Miss Minnie pie with some Suge Avery pea. Perfect pairing.
Okay. Do not piss off Donna and go to her house and have a meal, guys. Don't.
Yeah. I'll put a root on you. What Richard Pryor say, you drink my shit, you gonna have little baby feet. Little tiny feet.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'm not drinking. I'm not sharing, and nothing. Okay, I'm gonna say
I want that tattooed on my forehead. I really like that. I want that on my forehead.
What little tiny feet?
Oh my gosh. But we're going to keep moving on. And since Danielle was so excited about, having this tattooed in the forehead, there may be something else she wants to tattoo on her forehead. Maybe it's the word qualified immunity.
Yeah, I'm getting qualified immunity tattooed on my forehead because the New York City Council officially ended qualified immunity in New York City, which is sick. So for anybody who doesn't know, qualified immunity is basically like a legal doctrine that says that a cop cannot be held legally liable for any action committed while in the line of duty, while acting in good faith. So I wanted to talk more about where qualified immunity came from to show just how fucked up it is. And I, as Ruth Bader Ginsburg, am demanding that every city end qualified immunity. Okay, so imagine it's 1967 and you're a cop in Mississippi, right? And you're at a coffee shop and you're drinking coffee and 3 priests walk in, but they're Black. So what do? What would you do? You arrest them, right? You just arrest them for being there in the coffee shop. And so that's what happened to these 3 Black priests. They were arrested. They were convicted. Their conviction was overturned and they sued the 2 cops. And that's when Mississippi basically made this doctrine being like, well, you can't sue those cops because they thought you were going to start some trouble. And so now you can't be held legally liable. And it's basically so it's basically based on if any cop is acting in good faith. So basically trying to do their job, they can't be legally liable. But in 1982, the court was like, well, who can say if a cop is acting in good faith? There's no jury that can read a cop's mind. So they basically decided cops are always acting in good faith. And so they cannot be tried for anything.
Lord of mercy.
Yeah.
Wait.
That's.
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully, thankfully, this has been overturned. But that has been what we've been up against. You know, and the thing about it is that has also fed the thinking of many people who are in love with law enforcement. This idea that law enforcement, well, no, if they said it's right. You can't, sue them. They're just doing their jobs. They're working for us and keeping us safe. And so much of that is because there was no way to hold them accountable. So some people thought, well, there must be nothing to hold them accountable for. So this is amazing.
It's
So
like
now,
I'm sorry.
I was just going to ask, do we know if people will be able to sue retroactively?
That I don't know, but I really, really hope so. I really, really hope so.
The city
I think
will go
especially
bankrupt.
of like Eric Garner's family, who basically because they were trying to stop him from selling loose cigarettes, they were just allowed to choke him.
Yeah.
Like they should be sued.
Mm-hmm.
They should be held liable.
I thought that situation that you were talking about up top that you were giving, I thought that was like totally made up, and I was like, oh no, that's the real one. Okay, yeah, that
really happened in 1967. Yeah, they were tried and convicted for like assembling in a way that was threatening. They were assembling in a way that could have potentially led to some kind of disturbance. Was the official crime.
And see, that's the line that's been used for so long that we feared for our life.
Yep.
And I mean, what is good faith?
Mm-hmm.
You mean three? It's almost like the beginning of a joke. 3 priests walk into a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And then we get this bullshit. It's just it's mind-boggling that the whole idea that they thought something might happen is just bias, just all the way around, through and through.
Mm-hmm.
3 priests was gonna do what?
Yeah.
Establish good faith is that you thought something might happen. You thought that there potentially could have been a crime, so you can kind of do whatever you want to do. And it's not just about people, it's also about property. So things like when property gets damaged, the cops aren't held liable. Small business owners suffer because there's no recourse.
Just like the wall got more justice that got shot than Breonna Taylor.
That's right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And police are they're held at this high pedestal, police, but they're just people. They're just people that have guns and a badge and but they look at them like in court. I'm not saying that I was in court when this happened, but I've seen in court that like they believe cops right off. Like everything is like, I don't even bother going to court anymore because I just pay tickets or do whatever. It wasn't me that went to court. I just pay tickets and I just pay it because I'm not going to sit there and argue because you're not going to believe me unless I have video, satellite, and Jesus comes down and is like, yeah, I saw him not cross that stop sign. It's got to be, everything got to be perfect. Right. Or I got Johnny Cochran comes back from the dead and he starts defending me over traffic tickets. They're never going to believe me over the police officer. But the police officer, there's been plenty of times the police officers just giving me ticket just to give me a ticket.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
do you still have a license, Greg? I mean, how many tickets have you gotten?
I do have a license. I'm just not allowed to drive through certain states.
Damn.
So I got to take the long way around to get into states.
Punishment, New Jersey?
Yeah, I live in New Jersey, so
that's why he's not allowed to drive. So he has to walk all the way to the border.
I got a cane.
Park in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I gotta walk over the George Washington Bridge or through the Holland Tunnel.
25 miles to go. My feet are hurting mighty bad.
We're gonna check Greg allegedly Cornejo.
Allegedly.
But there is this mythology around police. I mean, you think about the average. I noticed this when I look at TV on an average weeknight on network TV. There's 2,000 damn police shows on because they want to drive into our mind that they're wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And and even news programs before they end, they always end on some special interest piece that some police has done some wonderful thing. And then there's always and like I said, on the network TV lineup, there's a million police shows. Why? Why are they feeding us this?
Police are supposed to do a wonderful thing. That's their job. Like if I call Sprint, I don't know, I haven't had them in a while. But if I call Sprint and I'm like, hey, this customer service was great. I mean, you're supposed to give me good customer service. You're supposed to protect and serve, not abuse and like take advantage of, right? Like take away their pensions too. I want them dead broke. Take away everything. You want and I have family members that are police, but
do you like that?
Well, and then the other side of my family, but I'm talking to my other side of my family. These people, these are just, like I said, they're just human beings. Take everything away. If they're not, then the police union wants to talk about then people are not going to be cops. Good. I don't want people like this to be fucking cops. I want these people to be as far away from police work as possible, because I want the people that are like, I don't got nothing to worry about. I'm not going to hurt nobody. I'm not going to do nothing wrong. Yes, I take a chance of being killed by criminals, but I'm also the right person to do this job. Not something to be paying for the next 25 years.
Don't in other countries they have to have bachelor degrees and all this kind of stuff?
Yes.
And most police academies, they go to school for a few several weeks, and then they're on the street.
Yeah, a lot of them in the United States. Yeah.
And I don't know.
You need more training to be in Police Academy the movie than you do to be in like an actual police.
I mean, we need our police. We absolutely need them.
No, we don't. We don't need them. We don't fucking need them. We don't need them. Get rid of the police. Like you're saying that they're individuals. That's not the problem. It's the individuals that get socialized into an institution, right? That creates these expectations where it's like, the analogy I think is like, I don't trigger warning, but like with R. Kelly, like how they groom people and then they like get them in and they get them to commit crimes so they're also culpable, but it's all messed up. That's what the police is, right? Like you have dirty cops, they get other people on board, and then it's like, if you take me down, I'll take you down. Like, no, we could take that money and do so much other stuff with it. Like we could have social services, we could have public health care. Get rid of guns, and then we don't need police. Like, if we don't have guns on the street, we don't need SWAT team shit. Like, we don't need this. Like, we don't need
to transition out though.
Robot dogs.
That's a big leap.
Yeah, you got to transition out.
I kind of want someone.
But here's the thing: is when I feel like there's lots going on, but like when you have stuff that's not working, sometimes you just have to build a different house, right? You can't just like keep. When you have a jackleg apartment and there's like holes in the walls and there's duct tape everywhere, sometimes you got to demolish that building and build something else. And maybe we can be building something else, but we sure as hell got to demolish this building, right? Like,
absolutely. I think it's like transition into it. You know, I can't live on the streets for a week while I'm trying to build that other house. You know what I mean? I need something in between to let me live.
But if all of our money's going to duct tape, how are we going to build that other house? You know?
Yeah.
And also, if you're like you're saying, Donna, like if all the TV shows, if all of our imagination is just like how great the cops are, like no. And here's the thing, though: people thought ending slavery was like going to be crazy and that it wouldn't sustain. It's like, yeah, well, some shit broke and you had to figure it out. But then they also developed more ways to do awful shit, and that's what prisons are for. Like, it's all the same shit. Get rid of it.
And
Stop
also,
it.
Also piggybacking off of Dom, like the police are not interested in transitioning with us. Like they literally bought 2 robot dogs from Boston Dynamics that are designed to break your fucking legs. Like they are not playing. Like they are deploying these into the street. Like they do not want to protect us. They're looking to break our legs.
But they can't break legs if you got Timbs on your feet. You know what I'm saying? You stomp them out. You stomp out the dog, whatever that robot dog.
I mean, the fact of the matter is that the police, what their job is to do is to arrest people, put them away. They're not there for any other, like to find justice. So we need to stop expecting that. That is one thing we really have to not expect them to do. And they go into training and they get specialized training on how to take people down, what the language to use, to take people down, to get them arrested. That's what it is. It's just getting those numbers. Now, I'm not going to say I want to get rid of all of the police. I appreciate what you're saying about the house analogy. I don't think it's that simple, though. And I don't. But I do understand, although I don't exactly agree. But I do know that there needs to be change. And like the blue wall of silence, I mean, that's a bunch of crap, that no one will speak up against, their fellow officer who they see doing wrong. And that's a giant issue right there. The fact that people are too afraid to speak up. Or if I say something, then when I need help, they won't help me. Then what kind of person are you working with? That person sucks, So yeah. So we'll be having this conversation about the police
forever.
Forever.
I'm just saying, if you take my 60-year-old mom and literally put her in jail when she has a health emergency, you don't deserve to be in an institution. No.
Oh no, that's crazy.
If you ran a Dairy Queen like you ran the police, that shit would have been bulldozed to the ground. We wouldn't be doing this. If you ran a Pizza Hut like you run the police.
The swap meet, can you?
No.
The half of the police shit.
If there was a UPS that killed as many people as the police did, that shit would be gone. We wouldn't have it. No.
The police is run worse than an improv theater. So
Yeah.
Honestly,
I guess it's going to close soon.
The improv theater on the police. So listen, okay. Well, Dom, you're talking about, I think, people, having agency and us taking care of ourselves and our issues and being, fighting back in our own way. So I think you have an article, something of interest with someone fighting back that we should be talking about.
Right. I don't know if you all saw this video that was shared. It went viral of a 75-year-old woman in San Francisco, a Chinese ancestry, who was attacked and then fought back against her attacker. Her name is Zhao Zhenji. She's 75 years old. She unfortunately was brutalized by a random stranger on the street, targeted because of her race. The video was shared by, I think, a news reporter came on the scene, took a video, shared it, and it went viral. And we might have heard these narratives of people being really happy that she was able to stand up for herself, which is a good thing. But then some folks were making it to be kind of a victorious story, even though she was traumatized and it's still a really negative interaction. But one good thing that came out of it was her grandson actually started a fundraiser for her on GoFundMe to help pay for some of her medical bills. She does have health insurance, but I guess the scope is limited, and so certain things around dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder were going to cost a little bit more. So they set out to raise a goal of about, I think it was $25,000. They very quickly met it, and now they've raised just under $1 million. So I think it's $976,347, which is way over their amount. It was very generous donations from all over. And then recently, the grandson, John Chen, who was the organizer of the fundraiser, announced that the family had talked and collectively decided that they were going to donate this money to fight racism. So it's not clear what causes, what anti-racist work they're donating it to. But they said that they collectively decided that she has more than enough to take care of what she needs, and that they want to do good work. And I think the grandmother is quoted as saying that, so she insists on making this decision, saying the issue is bigger than her, right? So it's not just her one incident, but that she understands this is a really large issue, that anti-racism is an important thing to support. But the good side of this was all the donations. She said that it lifted her spirits and she was feeling better about the whole situation. Mm-hmm. So there's some good to come out of it. It is a really terrible situation. Of course, as we know from the shootings last week, how terrible racism is. And of course, from the shootings this week in Colorado, that gun violence is out of hand. And I guess those two things coupled together, we have to think more deeply about. But yeah, I'm curious to think. And see, this is what I say when I'm think bigger. What would you do with $1 million? How could anti-racism show up in your life if you had $1 million to put behind it, right? We talked about this comedy theater. What would $1 million comedy theater be like if it was all led by Black women, like Donna's group, and how would we build from there?
It could seed a lot of projects.
Absolutely. Yeah. That'd be amazing. And I know, you touched on really quickly this idea. I mean, obviously, she was traumatized, and people did kind of celebrate her fighting back. I know I was happy that she was able at least to get a lick in. You know what I mean? Even though I knew that she was brutalized and this is going to stay with her for a while, it felt good in this moment with so much going wrong that someone was, this lady was able to take a stick. Because sometimes I just feel like somebody needs a stick taken to them. Sometimes I look at stories and I'm like, that person needs a good punch in the nose. Like that 8-ball jacket guy, when that girl hit him with the shoe and he slapped her. You know what? I'm a woman. I don't believe people should like hit. But, when someone is asking for it, when they're brutalizing you, you get to hit them back. And I was happy that he at least was able to be, a part of his being apprehended because she was able to knock him in his head. Someone else was able to hold him down so that he could be arrested.
Yeah.
And she twisted teed his ass.
Twisted tea. Right.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Go ahead, Donna. I'm sorry.
Well, there's this whole stereotype about like, it's kind of dated now, but like Asian people knowing karate and shit. And I'm like, God damn, I wish that was true. There were so many instances where I was like, I really wish I could like Daniel-san on somebody every now and then, but I don't know any martial arts. I knew like a teeny bit of capoeira like 1,000 years ago. So Shem, I know Shem's got the martial arts skills.
I love that you use Daniel-san as a reference. The whitest martial arts reference.
Right. Like Tom Cruise was the last samurai, right?
It was a very popular movie.
It was.
I stand by that cinematic reference.
I took a karate class because of that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
He was the Bruce Lee of our generation, and that's very sad to say.
And then we got Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it all comes back.
Jaden Smith is furious right now. Just
Jaden Smith.
Did Jaden like show up, like see his dad and talks, for Cobra Kai, and he thought he was going to get into it, and his dad was like, "No, we've tried this. No, son. No,
sire, no.
Go over there and eat some chicken, Jaden, and then we'll
I'm broadcast red tables.
Oh, Jaden doesn't. He's an icon living. So yeah, yes, he is.
We love Jaden.
People love Jaden. They love him.
The official of the Goss.
The official position of I don't know.
Comment below. We love you. Please comment below.
He always looks like he's like upset, like somebody hurt his feelings. That's how he always looks. I'm like,
he always have a
yeah, he needs to smoke some weed and relax.
Who is this?
Jaden Smith.
I like this.
Oh.
Yes.
I feel like this comment in the chat: $1 million invested into one community can inspire 100 kids to grow up to inspire thousands. That's real.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's where y'all saw it. And speaking of kids, Shem, you want to talk a little bit about
that face was I don't got no kids.
Sing again.
No, you are the father.
Wild time. No, because I said I want to talk about weed. Weed's now legal, or it's going to be legal in New York. It's very exciting, which I guess children smoke. But more importantly, I wanted to say if there's going to be a lot of money coming into weed, I will happily take it. I want this show to be sponsored by weed. I think the Litverse should be sponsored by weed. I'm just actively, I turned myself green for both the weed sponsorship and St. Patrick's Day. Thank you, Michelle. But yes, I just really think it's important that we reach out now to any weed company that wants to sponsor the show. I will do any branded content. I will. Yep, there you go. Look how much money that is. Look, $4.2 billion. That's almost $420 billion. That's
Wait,
that's right.
I'm just saying, isn't this the time that we should all become drug kingpins? Like, I feel like we might have enough contacts between all of us, right? I'll say for myself, probably not Laura. Laura's Protect Laura at all costs.
Laura's got to bail us out. We give her the money.
No, we need somebody on the outside.
But yeah, like even
Laura gets the lawyers.
Like there's going to be people out like distributing and like making things, but they'll need like HR, they'll need like design, they'll need like fun like promotional act. There will be so many like things generated and like people running like weed ads. Like I would read a sponsored weed ad in a heartbeat for this show right now. Just give me the chance.
We're putting it out into the universe.
I'm putting it. Also, I should say I don't smoke weed at all. Never have, never will. That's how happy I am to like just take this money and get that leafy green. Thank you, Nice and Loud. Nice and Loud is doing the Lord's work in the comments.
I know.
It's like
appreciate you, Nice and Loud. Appreciate
Nice and Loud. Shout out.
Shout out. Yeah, this is great that it's being legalized. The tragedy is that all of the people who are in jail now, because of illegal weed sales or what have you, will continue to serve their time. Hopefully, the justice system will move quickly and reduce those sentences and let nonviolent offenders out of jail.
I think that's usually what they try to work out, because I know in New Jersey, when they had us vote on it. They did have wording in it about like people that were jailed, people that were coming back to living in society because they were jailed. How can these funds go and affect them and give them help for to transition out of jail? So I believe
if you get the people out of the jails, that's more space for police officers who are now liable for those crimes.
Right.
Like one hand washes the other.
Yes.
I'm just saying,
One
weed is about to get
the other.
Weed is about to get gentrified, so we need to do our part to make sure that weed is represented by diverse people.
Yeah. I mean,
this past prior to COVID, a local church, EBC, goodness, they had a couple of things in Brooklyn about getting into the weed business, which was a
I don't have 100,000.
because they don't because the truth is a lot of this industry is going to open up to like power players, people who don't look like many of us, and so how do we get it and not have that taken away from us? Or like
money. Have the weed investment club.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll do that. I'll do that instead of what's that called when you give somebody like $100?
A loan?
No.
Yes.
That's right. A susu. We could do a susu for
weed
for a weed company. Not for weed. Shoot, that's already set aside from my check. I mean, 10% of I'll give tithes to the weed man. 10% of my check goes directly to my friend. I don't know his name. Oh, I go to a dispensary now. Actually, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry, guys. I'm classy.
Well, I'm just hoping that the new legal dispensaries will drive some of these prices in New Jersey down.
Yes.
I'm just saying though, East Coast weed is
trash,
garbage.
It's
garbage.
not that great. Yeah.
Like California weed.
Wow. Okay.
I've heard.
Well, I got bad knees. Hook a sister up.
There you go. I mean, honestly, my sister goes to a bud tender and gets like weed cream for her back in Oakland, and I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait for that life when I can rub weed on my knees.
I'm my knees need it. I'm gonna call it botanical arthritis medicine.
Right.
There you go.
Holistic medicine.
Right there.
That's a business.
Mm-hmm. It's good for your joints.
Amazing what it does. Like
for your joints.
Right. I don't be hungry and then I'm hungry. Like it's amazing what weed does.
Yeah. Cool.
So when you see J&J, it ain't gonna mean Johnson & Johnson. It's gonna mean joints and joints.
Yeah,
joints and joints.
I like that.
Again with the branding, that's really good.
You should have went into marketing.
You
I got the
guys,
wrong vaccine.
I think we're a think tank now.
I think we are.
Yo, this is all
I think-
copywritten. Nobody can steal this. All right.
Yes.
All right, this is
We
recorded.
shouted to the internet.
This
Yeah,
is
I just yelled at
recorded.
the internet.
It's recorded. I said it. I got witnesses. So that's what it is. Timestamp this shit.
I will see you in court, Donna. I will see you in court.
Oh, there it is. And on that note, we've come to the end of our show, guys. We did it. We did it. Yeah, we love you. You have to come back, Donna. You have to come back. Please come back.
I will.
Please join us.
Yes.
Even my dog said hi.
Hey, dog.
Hey, doggy.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I love having these conversations with folks that look like me. It really means a lot to me. And the last thing I forgot to mention is I also started a diversity council at Push Comedy Theater.
Great. Nice.
Love that.
Love it.
Real quick. Tell us a little bit. Take a minute. Take 60 seconds and tell us about that.
Okay. Last fall, after everything was going on with the protests and whatnot, and the other things that was going on at the other improv theaters around the country, I wanted to bring the whole diversity thing to bear at Push Comedy Theater. It's a wonderful, supportive community, but of course it needs more people that look like us and more BIPOC people there. And so I started a diversity council, and with 6 other people from the theater, and we're putting together a mission statement and all this kind of stuff. And the main thing that we're doing once a month diversity jams, where we raise money to fund our diversity scholarship to get more POC to come into the theater to start with Improv 101.
Yes.
Where do you send the money to?
Push Comedy Theater for right now.
Okay. So you go on the website and you guys send on the website?
Yes, they have PayPal or something, and you can say if you want to designate it for the diversity scholarship, you can. So we started a once a month diversity jam like last October, and we've been raising money like every month for it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That I host.
Awesome. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being so funny. So guys, look for Donna Lewis online. Check her out. Follow her. Check out the Push Card Theater. Do all these things. Support comedy. Support the cast. Come back next week. 10 o'clock, 10:30. We'll be here. Have a great week and happy rest of what's this? Women's History Month?
Yeah.
Happy Women's History Month.
Yay, women.
Bye.
We made it, ladies.
Thank you.
It's still on.